Some agencies can attract A player talent and crush it. Other agencies repel A players and they greatly underperform as a result. And what happens? The CEO gets frustrated with the team, wondering why it's not working, feeling trapped. And I know because I was that agency owner. And in this video, I'm going to share how I turned around my team from hurting performers to only hiring A players and being able to take a step back from the day-to-day. So here's my promise to you. If you watch this video till the end, you'll get two things. First, you'll walk away with actionable steps to hire A players. And second, I'll give you a script that you can use with your existing team to turn any underperformers into A players. So it's your step-by-step guide to get A players. Number one, you have to ask yourself, what is an A player? So I define an A player as a team member who does the following things. Number one, they're excited by making something bigger. Number two, they like to keep score on their performance. Number three, they want feedback to get better. And number four, they are a multiplier. That means they make other team members more effective. And anyone who isn't an A player, anyone who doesn't solve those four key items, you can call them a B player, you can call them a C player, it doesn't matter. We only care about the A players. Your goal as a CEO is to upgrade everyone that touches your business to be all A players. Now, I know that I was not very good about this, particularly in the early days of the agency. I thought I couldn't afford an A player. I thought that they wouldn't want to work with little old my agency. I thought that I wasn't deserving of having them, but that's all in my head. And so what I want to have you do at this point is understand that you can shortcut this and you don't need to play small ball with these B and C and whatever else it is players. Everyone that touches your business should always be an A player, should have those four attributes. And it's not just your team members. It could be your full-time hourly employees, but it's also your part-time staff, your outsourced providers, your subcontractors, your vendors, and dare I say it, I'm going to say it, your clients. So not only should your hires be A players, but those subcontractors, your CPA, your lawyer, your clients, it applies to everyone that touches your business. So if you've ever been frustrated by performance in the work world, it's because people didn't meet that benchmark. And here in this video, I'm going to take you through why you need to treat them differently. And when you do, what a difference it can make. So when I first started, some of my team members were good, but one of them kept on delivering terrible work. And when I let her go, I found out that she'd actually been spending most of her work hours buying and selling stuff on eBay. So why was I plagued by this kind of underperformer? My reason is the hiring process. Now I've got a separate video on the hiring process. Today, I'm going to focus on what you can do right now with your existing team and existing culture. Change it to be an A player culture. And I'll give you the secret. You have underperformers because you tolerate it. It comes down to whether your organization, your agency has a culture of accountability or not. Now, this is a binary thing. Either everyone, including you, the CEO, is accountable or they are not. You make that culture. It is your responsibility to do so. The good thing is, with that responsibility will become the agency that you always wanted. So if you're left-brained like me, very logical, in this case, culture does not mean foosball tables. It does not mean perks or benefits or happy hours or anything like that. With A players, it means something very different. Perks, the benefits, the foosball tables, that might please the B players, the C players, all the people we are not talking about in this video. A players want something very different. They want a culture of accountability. And what culture means in this context is the social contract of your organization, how you treat each other, how you deal with each other. And this is not words like kindness and things like that. This is how people in your business and around your business interact. They're called the rules of engagement. If you let things slide, if you don't keep score, then it tells the entire organization that performance isn't what matters most. So what happens when performance doesn't matter most? What becomes important? I'll tell you, bullshit becomes important. It becomes gossip and office politics and dicking around on the internet all day, buying stuff on eBay, as I found out, or something else that is just toxic to a high performance culture, a high performance organization. Now, high performance doesn't mean it has no heart. High performance means that you are doing the absolute best quality work you can and being the best teammates that you can. It has nothing to do with being kind or mean or anything like that. It has to do with doing the best work and creating an environment for the best work that you can. So how do you make sure that the bullshit is kept out and the high performance is what happens inside the agency? So you remember how I mentioned that A players like to keep score? They like to know how they're doing. They keep score with themselves. They believe in accountability, which is, kind of old-fashioned, I know. But since doing their job means that they need to rely on other team members, if those other team members aren't accountable, but an A player is holding themselves accountable, your A players are keeping score. And they're realizing that no matter how accountable they are to themselves, other people are not being held accountable. It impacts their performance because they say, well, why am I doing this? I'm doing the best job that I can. I'm really leaning into the job. I'm performing. I'm holding myself accountable, but no one else around me is held accountable. That tanks morale. A players in that environment don't stick around for long. Or if they do, they'll stop performing like an A player. So the net of it is essential to create an environment of performance. And 99% of the time, you don't get that by, oh, we treat this business like a family, or we all have happy hours on Friday. That's fine. That's great. And that can be in a high performance or a low performance culture. I'm just saying that is not relevant. Not telling someone that they're underperforming is doing everyone a disservice. It's doing that person a disservice because they don't know that they're underperforming. And it's doing your organization a disservice because it's chasing away the A players. You will get underperforming people if you don't tell them. They just don't know how to do better sometimes. Nobody can rely on them to get their part done, and everyone is losing. It's much better to tell an underperformer the truth and tell them the truth, have them get on a program or find another employer where they'll thrive. So what do you do now? The first thing is you realize that everyone needs to be held accountable. That means the member has to understand the objective success criteria for the role. So what is objective success criteria? It means success criteria that you can tell from a number is happening or it's not. Now, success criteria, these objective success criteria aren't, oh, I like this person or the team loves this person. What it is there's a number. They know that number. They're focused on that number and they hit that number. And when they don't, they own it. They understand they didn't do it and they learn from it. They're going to do better next time. So if everybody knows that there are benchmarks for success, that there's a number that they have to hit, it could be a satisfaction score for a client, or it could be, let's say, a certain cost per lead, or it could be a certain deadline. As long as there is a hard criteria, it's not a soft thing like, I like them, I think they're doing a good job. It's a number, and numbers can be based on things like an evaluation of a client so that you can get those soft skills incorporated, but it has to be based on a score. A players know that keeping score makes them better, and they want to be held accountable, and they want others to be held accountable. What it does is it increases their confidence. Those A players will then stick around longer because they say, oh, okay, I understand what success looks like. I understand what I'm working towards, and I understand that my teammates also understand what they're working towards, so we're all rowing in the same direction. And what's even better is if you start doing it this way, with these objective success criteria, when you're interviewing somebody new, the expectations for the role are clear because you've got an objective number. It says you are tasked with doing the following. And A players on the team will tell them things. They'll tell the interviewee things like, this is a place that you can really get better. You know exactly where you stand. You can own your job. Everyone's pulling their weight. We're doing amazing things together because we're all doing it in a with one another. So that's why accountability to objective success criteria are the key to A players. So the question is, are you up for it? It involves more work. It involves hard conversations. But if you do this, you'll have a high-performing agency with real results and less work for you. Now, I mentioned at the beginning, if you want a script to use to have that conversation, to take your employees, your team members, where they are today and elevate them to A players, and I've even got a training on how to do that, I've got you covered. Just visit the link below.